4-point breath. Day 6. Part of what we're doing now at this point is starting to stabilize our work. We're taking each day and we're piecing it all together. Day 6 is another day and also another crucial key to help support your meditation practice. So, go ahead, begin to allow yourself to lean back in your chair or wherever you might be. Start to settle in. Open and close your hands, roll the shoulders up towards the ears. Jostle your jaw from side to side. Start to imagine resting inner ears and outer eyes. Think of the crown of the head lifting up towards the heavens or sky. Think of the sitting bones anchoring down towards Mother Earth. And as they do, think of the legs becoming a little bit more soft. Arms soft. Heart soft. Throat soft. Back skull to also soften. Good. Eyes to close if they haven't yet. And we're going to dive in to the mini mind lesson or breath lesson today. Take a deep breath in from the nose. Slowly exhale out from the mouth for 1. Deep breath in from the nose. Just slowly exhale out for 2. And deep breath in from the nose. To empty out for 3. Good. As always, take a nice little pause here. Notice your thoughts or your mental body, what's passing through your awareness. How do you feel today in this moment? Words like energetic, words like melancholy, words like tired, whatever it may be. If there's a couple words, that's okay too. Good. Let's go ahead and tap into the body for a moment and just do a scan. So from the crown of the head to the sides of the head to the back skull, from the forehead to the cheekbone to the backs of the eyes, to the bridge of the nose, to the jawline, to the front of the neck, sides of the neck, back of the neck. What do you notice about this part of your body? What sensations are you feeling? Taking the journey with me again from the tops of the shoulders to the backs of the shoulders, scooping around to the front of the chest, down the collarbones, arms, inner elbows, outer elbows, forearms, wrists, palm centers of hands, tops of hands, finger stems to finger pads or tips of fingers. What do you notice about this part of the body? Trust your answer, whatever it may be. Good. Continuing the scan from the front of the ribs, sides of the ribs, back of the ribs, moving into the kidney region or low back or low back to scoop right back around towards the front of the body or the front of the belly. How do your organs feel? How do the front of the hips feel? And then scoop around again to the glutes, inner legs, outer legs, back of legs, top of legs, knees, backs of knees, sides of knees. Shins, calves, ankles, feet, tops of feet, bottoms of feet, the stems of the toes to the tips of the toes. How does this part of the body feel? Good. Let's use our breath and start practicing this bridge concept. Take a breath in. When you do, think of breathing all the way to the crown of the head, tips of fingers, tips of toes, full body breath. Slowly exhale out for 1. Deep breath in, full body breath. Inhale to the crown of the head, to the tips of the fingers, to the tips of the toes. Slowly exhale out for 2. And inhale. Last full body breath for a moment. To the crown of the head, to the tips of the fingers, into the torso of the body, down the legs to the tips of the toes. Exhale out slowly and then pause. Notice where you are. Notice where your awareness is moving. We're going to move into the 4-point breath. Using your same imaginary skills or felt sense. We're going to break down the body in 4 quarters or 4 parts. The first part will be around the neck and the upper shoulders and chest area. Think 360 degrees all around your body. This includes the back of the shoulder blades. In this first part, this, if we had to label it in a softer way, would be called chest breathing, or breathing with your accessory muscles. What this means, in the most simplistic form, is that this is shallow breath. It's a part where the majority of people breathe into, and because of it, it creates a lot of tension in the upper shoulders, in the neck, in the jawline, all around the skull, sides of skull, tops of skull, even more pressure behind the eyes. It's also where we acknowledge that the survivor or the fight, flight, or freeze response also exists in the back skull. This is our ability to stay alive, but what's happening is we're using this part of us a little too excessively. One way we can alleviate this is by breathing deeper. Part 2, or second part, using your imagination skills or felt sense, we acknowledge the front of the ribs, the sides of the ribs, and the back of the ribs. This is rib cage breathing. It's crucial because we often don't even know how to breathe deeply into the lowest lobes of the lungs. Often emotions will get very much stuck into parts of our body, and more specifically this part of our body. The theme here is grief, if we had to label and put a little bit of Chinese medicine to it today. The third part is your belly breath. This is where the majority of practices will stop. It's also known as your diaphragmatic breath. Your diaphragm, or this really cool organ, is located underneath your left rib cage, and it serves often like a balloon that you're filling up every time you inhale. So, that being said, when you inhale, you want to think of this balloon filling up, moving down towards your organ systems, or moving down south towards your pelvic bowl. And then when you exhale out, what happens is this balloon comes back up and deflates again, hanging out into the lower part of the rib cage, left lower rib cage. And the last part, the fourth part, it's known as pelvic bowl breathing. This part is about taking the breath, the lower half of the body, so that we become whole. This is where the depth is, and this is part of the body that will also help to support us being in our body the most. So think of your pelvic bowl, front of the hips, the sides, and the low back and glutes as your primary target here. Good. Now that you know all of that, we're going to breathe a little bit together. Inhale. When you inhale, think of sipping the breath into the body, into the neck, sides of the neck, back of the neck, tops of shoulders, and into the chest and into the shoulders, back, shoulders. Exhale out. Think of emptying any tension or stress from this part of the body. Do this 2 more times on your own, breathing in to the first part. Simply observing how it feels to breathe into this part of you. Stay observant of what you notice. Good. Let's now begin to breathe into the second part. So again, sipping your breath down on your inhale, allow your breath to move into the first part, filling yourself up. And then as you move the breath deeper, do your best to imagine your rib cage coming wide or flaring out a little bit as you inhale. When you exhale, think of your rib cage closing in a little bit, back to center line or back to center. Play with this a couple times. Inhale, drink your breath down from the first part to the second part. Acknowledge your ribs today. Let the breath nourish this part of you and awaken this part of you. Good. Third part, we're going to take the breath into the belly. Think of the breath moving into that diaphragm, especially the left side, but think of really taking the breath into both sides, deep underneath the ribs. And as you inhale, fill yourself up, thinking of a balloon really pushing into the organ systems, pushing down to help support, almost like a gentle massage in this part of you. Go ahead now and think of the 4-part breath. Think of the pelvic bowl, front, sides, and back. And as you breathe in this time, breathe into the first part, breathe into the second part, breathe into the third part, diaphragmatic breath. Balloon moves down. And think of the breath now moving deep into the pelvic bowl, filling yourself up all the way to slowly exhale out. Do this a couple more times. Inhale. All the way down to the pelvic bowl. Take it down to the 4th part. And exhale out. And one more time. Full breath in. First part, second part, third part, 4th part. And breathe out. You're going to give yourself a moment here just to explore and be with this new information. Please stay here as long as you need to. And continue breathing into the 4 parts of your body. We'll continue to take this again as another key, as another layer to what we'll be exploring on day 7. So continue to breathe and allow yourself this moment just to be. Eventually, when you're ready, I'll encourage you to awaken. Thank you for joining me. Have an amazing day, afternoon, or evening. Namaste.